Yeah, so 2.5 years I spent in Fata, and then we came back and we spent some more time in I think in Sialkot it was,
Okay.
and that was the highlight, the sort of highlight period when
Yeah, yeah.
that's when elections were going on, and and we were really close to Lahore, so we had some good times for just
Right.
6 months,
Right.
and and after 6 months we had just had to back up and go to Siachen where we stayed for another 2.5 years. So I stayed all of that time in Siachen, and believe you me, I thought that after Fata that's the end. That's Nothing is going to get worse than
Yeah.
this. But when I went to Siachen, I was like, fucking hell, man! It was horrible. That's the epitome of misery. That
Yeah.
fucking I don't know why we have and Indians have soldiers over there. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no logic. It's just people are just dying for no reason over
Mm.
there, and it's just horrible.
What's
It's
the
a
I
horrible
think
place.
a lot of
It's very
people na
depressing.
Pakistan mein
Mm.
we know कि सियाचिन पे हमारे नौजवान लड़ रहे हैं and stuff like that, and it's in the mountains and it's a glacier, but I'm sure there's a lot of like small things that just living in that space, apart from even the conflict thing, that people
Mm.
just can't imagine. So would you mind like describing udhar ki situation kya thi?
Yeah, no problems. Siachen mein basically, I don't know if you know, like, so back in the 80s, Indian Army came all the way to Skardu, and then we
Hmm.
had to, make our soldiers run from Lahore, and Lahore ki sardi ki jo hai pullover wali usme wo Siachen mein aage gए थे, where temperature goes down to -70. Where I was, it was -60,
70.
-70. Yeah, bro, it's just
Wow.
horrible. It's horrible. Like K2 was right there. We
Wow.
have a post. We have a post. Obviously, I'm not going to name the post. We have a post
Sure.
which is a very famous post,
Huh.
and it's the closest one to K2 as well. It's in one of the sectors in Siachen. I wasn't in that sector, but I was the sector where I was. I could see exactly where, but it was really close by. And at 22,000 feet, I was posted. It was just, I think it's 13,000 feet or 12,000, where after which there's no vegetation, right? And
Right.
then
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
there are
tree
no
line
birds,
ends.
there's nothing. The
Hmm.
tree line ends, and then after if you climb a little further up, and then you lose the sight of birds and eagles and as well. There's no over
Yeah.
there where we are. There's no other living thing
You're the only
other than
people.
human beings. We are the only people,
Yeah.
and it's so depressing, man. Like we get food, like we get meat uh, as well over there. It just gets burned within a week. It just sort of shrinks and
Oh, like freeze
acquires this
burn.
weird shape. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and it's just tastes horrible as well. You can't have meat over there. Plus, your hemoglobin and your white blood cell count shoots through the roof because your body's trying to, because the air is thin and there's less oxygen, right?
Right.
So your body tries to make up by making more endorphins and neutrophils and the white blood cells, so that
Okay.
it's able to get more oxygen from the environment, basically. So that's how your body tries to make up for the lack of oxygen over there. And everything is just, your heart is beating faster than usual. Imagine for like 6 months, because you can't move, even though you're just lying down. It's just you can't go and take a shit normally over there. You have to sometimes this is just real shit that needs to be talked
Uh-huh.
about. There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many problems that people don't go. They're not able to go to the bathroom, just to the toilet, just for a week, because there's a blizzard going on.
Oh shit. Acha.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So you have to, and there's so many
Like at
problems
that
over there.
point,
So
like the conflict aspect is like not even the biggest
oh
problem.
no, oh not at all, man. And even for those soldiers as well, when there's a period called the no move period, right? And so we just have radio communication, and the Indians have radio communication from their headquarters, and yeah, but there's no like physical communication. So there are no parties, like parties of comprising of men going to headquarters, or
Acha.
parties coming from the headquarters to the post. So the dumping gets done in the other period. So in the move period, where you're able to move. So they dump all the ration and all the
Oh, like the
goods
supplies.
there.
Right.
Yeah, so all the supplies, and for let's say 4 or 5 months, and then the rest of the 7 8 months, you're not able to move. and therefore you obviously use the ration. So in the no move period, so there are a lot of posts in that region where the Indian post is just like 300 meters away,
Right.
right? So you see them and they see you, and when there's no move, they would ask for cigarettes and stuff or dal or whatever,
Yeah,
and
because at that point
saying
you're just
that
like people.
at that point you just need to survive, man, and you
Yeah.
just need to, it's just about going through that day at one point
Mm,
in time, one day at a
mm.
time. Yeah. So I don't understand why we need to. Obviously, there are problems with the all the rivers and stuff
Yeah.
in India, the water problems and stuff. But still, like this shit needs to get resolved. Everything else, I understand. There's some maybe there's an iota of logic you can find. All right, LOC and the Western
Yeah.
border and stuff. I'm now a pacifist, by the way. Like,
Okay.
believe it or not, I don't like war. I don't want war at all. I think this dialogue is everything,
Was that
and
different
there
to
are
who
other
you
ways.
were at the time?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was a different person back then, and I needed to be that person in order to
Sure.
survive.
Yeah.
I would probably still go in that mode if given in the right circumstance. But now this is my reality, and I don't see any point in bloodshed. Obviously, you have to be able to defend yourself when it's entrusted upon you, and when it's
Yeah.
shoved in your face. But like
But
not,
best to
and
never
that's
get to there.
yeah, exactly, and and avoid it as much as you can, which I think is our strategy as a country at this point in time, and I'm glad that it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, and more often than not, it's been that way for a very long time now. Maybe not during the '60s and stuff, but now it's the new
Whoa.
world order.
How long do you stay in Siachen?
About 2.5, 3 years almost.
What? Acha.
Yeah, because so there's one of the benefits of being in the infantry as well. So every other officer, they from the other arms, they come for like 6 months, and
Okay.
then they go, then they just pass all that time, stay in one of the posts, and then they just leave. Whereas infantry officers, the whole battalion actually moves there, and you
You're
have to
all
be there.
there. Huh.
We're all there for all that time.
Is the weather better in the summer? Like, is it less horrible? Yeah, usme bhi bas barely.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Obviously, yeah, it's the temperature drops uh, sometimes, but you never know when a blizzard is going to come. You sometimes you get the sun, but then again, there's every time you go out, you put yourself at risk of
Hmm.
getting a cerebral edema or a pulmonary edema
Right.
over there. Water gets filled into your lungs or
Right.
in your brain just because it's so fucking cold over there. Just exposing your body over there and not maybe wearing the cap in a wrong fashion, or not being taking out a cigarette just to light up a cigarette, and you take your glove out for a little
Right.
while and you find that it's fine, but then suddenly you get this tingling feeling, and then your
Frostbite.
hands start.
Yeah.
By the time you put your gloves back, it's already it started doing its magic on you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and two
Yeah.
days
Yeah.
later you see your fingers are getting black, and then you
Mm.
have to be evacuated.
And you, I'm assuming you saw that happening left, right,
Yeah,
center.
a lot of the times. and
Mm.
and yeah, there were landslides as well. So the landslides were one of the biggest problems over there. Just exposure to cold and landslides,
Was
massive
there
landslides.
was there like at that 2.5 period of time, was there any serious interactions, combat at that period? Yeah, the weather was enough of a problem.
No, so there was no, we didn't, to be honest, we didn't get any operation. We didn't go into
Okay.
operational mode over there. Yeah, it was ceasefire
Hmm.
all that period that we was there. Yeah, so it wasn't that much of a problem. But like I said, I found it much worse than being in the operational area where there was no fire, because it's just mentally really challenging over
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
because you're alone, right? And it's no matter how hard you try, there is this gap with your men and yourself, because how there is a very like distinct difference in like the kind of stuff that you would talk about probably,
Right.
and
Life
what
experience.
the soldier would talk about, life experience.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, you can have shared experience to an extent, but after some time you'll be like, okay, no, I need to, like, be able to move forward. but you don't, and that's really frustrating. Like, sometimes you can be, when you're in different social situations, you can be like, okay, in a couple of hours I'll go back and do whatever the fuck I was doing
Right.
before.
Right.
But now you're just stuck there for 8-9 months. All right, you gotta adapt, man.
Right.